Good morning. It's Jeremy and Joe. Jeremy is off this week. Happy holidays, as the Sabres are searching for a 7th win in a row tonight in Ottawa. We are joined on the Western Hotline by Sabres head coach Lindy Ruff. Lindy, Merry Christmas. Thanks for being on.
Yeah, Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to you too.
How do you feel like the vibes in the room are when a team is on a 6-game win streak like this?
I think the vibe has been very good. We've managed the emotions of not trying to get too high and put the wins away and get ready for the next game. And we're looking at a game tonight against Ottawa. Ottawa's on a 4-game winning streak and playing really well. So we know we're in for a real tough contest here with this last game before the holiday. Have
you felt like there's a different energy at all with the team during this streak, and especially in the last couple of weeks?
I think the energy has been good. I think there's added energy when we've had guys come back into the lineup. I think, when we look at a guy like Norris coming back into the lineup and the depth through our lineup now, the lines have remained the same. And I think we've got some continuity, although we've had a guy like Timmins go out and Zucker's gone out. But through the stretch, I think, there's been a lot of good things and just want to try to maintain that, that consistent hockey that allows you to win games night after night.
Yeah, when Jarmo Kekäläinen had done his introductory press conference last week, and even with us, he had mentioned the compete level on a night-to-night basis, and you've talked about that too all year. How do you feel like that is going right now, especially that last game, Lindy? Because there are built-in excuses there, right? Like you played the night before, you're on the road against a good team, they got their best player back. And especially that second period, it felt like the team's compete level, as previously mentioned, was there.
Yeah, you look at the first period, and you mentioned excuses. You can always use excuses, but you need to find reasons to win a game. After the first period, we lost the compete game in the first period. So we talked about, how we're going to win that compete, coming to the puck, getting the tighter connected, 3 guys closer in the offensive zone, shortening up the shifts, trying to get higher energy in a shorter period of time, winning more foot races. That's the compete inside the game that you have to win. And if you can win that, it's almost like a running game in football. You start to get ozone time. They start to chip pucks out. And I thought we started to stack shifts on top of shifts where we were inside the offensive zone and they didn't generate any offense. And we were able to keep coming after them. And the good part about that is we just kept on doing it. And I thought we played a really good second period.
Yeah, the second for sure. How did you feel about the third also? Because that's one where I remember saying to Owen here that as that second is ongoing, thinking, man, it'd be good to get the lead here because I wonder if they'll run out of gas playing at this pace. And you did get the lead. So how did you feel about how they finished?
I thought we really played well defensively. I thought we had 2 or 3 good opportunities on plays that we drove in wide, going to the net to increase that to 3-1. We didn't, but we didn't make the big mistakes that allowed, the high-quality opportunities. We did, we allowed 1 or 2, which is pretty normal. We got some really good saves out of UPL and allowed us to win the hockey game.
How have you felt about your goaltending, especially UPL getting that start? Because he hadn't been in a while, hadn't won a game in a while. How nice was it to see UPL give you a performance like that?
I thought it was great. I mean, you look at our schedule and where we're at, and the schedule that's coming up. The schedule in the last 3 months of the year, where almost every team is going to need 2 goaltenders. You need 2 good goaltenders. I mean, we happen to have 3 good goaltenders right now. It was great for UPL to step in. I thought the early goal and then his response after that, I thought was mentally, it just seemed like he was locked in. And that's the type of goaltending we need. He made one unbelievable save that kept the game at 1-0. And I think those are the saves that, get you up on the bench and get the guys pumped up. And I was really happy for him.
Yeah, Lindy, you've gotten a lot better play in this streak from your goaltenders, especially with Alex Lyon playing the way he has in Vancouver and Seattle specifically, I remember. How much credit do you think goes to the increased and better play in your D zone versus what those goaltenders have done in their own games. It seems like both are sort of syncing up in a good place together right now, and I'm curious what you think each side sort of has a role to play there.
Yeah, I think it's all connected. Our neutral zone play, so teams don't skate through us, to how we play in the D zone. We can mention the number of shots that our players have blocked. You go to the Vancouver game and guys selling out to block some shots when there was good opportunities. That was probably the thing that sticks out the biggest in my mind. But they're all connected. And I thought, our neutral zone in the Jersey game, it stalled out their speed. It stalled out a Hughes and a Bratt and a Heischer. And when you can take the other team's speed away, once you get in the D zone, then a lot of times, if you can get out within that 6 to 8 second mark, you get to go play offense. So I think all those are connected.
Do you think there's anything too also with Lyon that he's given you his best hockey twice this season, really in the stretches where he's played the most in a row?
Yeah, I think when I look back, we were concerned that we were going to reach a point where we were overplaying him. I think there's no science on it, but there's a window you can get to where a goalie feels comfortable playing, maybe 3-4 games in a row. But at the same time, if you look at the schedule, which I mentioned, we're going to need both goaltenders. I think you're going to look at a situation where you look at the schedule and you think, and everything isn't always hard written, but you'll mark this game down for this guy or that guy, and keep both guys going because you're going to need the goalies when you start playing back to back and 4 and 6, and our guys have done it for us.
Lindy Ruff with us on the West Her hotline. The team obviously has been a little bit healthier. I mean, still no Kulik and Zucker and others, but Josh Norris, since he's returned, Lindy, here he's playing against his former team tonight in Ottawa. Is he giving you, especially in this win streak, but really overall, exactly what you would have envisioned for him before the season had started since he's returned from injury?
Well, for sure. I think when we started the season, we envisioned, Josh being like a 1-2 centerman, Yuri Kulik, who had finished last year in such a great place, being one of our top centermen, and we start the year without those two guys. But I think what we're seeing right now is what we expected. I think he's skating well. He's getting to the inside. I thought great effort on the first goal the other night, where real good face-off play, and Dahl got it into the goaltender, and he won that battle. I think his play in the power play, has lifted our power play. So there's a lot about what we're seeing right now is exactly what we thought we would see with a healthy Josh Norris.
And I just wanted to ask you a little bit about Mattias Samuelsson, Lindy. He has been a changed player from what we saw last season, and it might not be the easiest thing for an average fan to see. So I just wanted to ask you what you have seen in Mattias's game that has really elevated him this season.
His physicality, his defending. If you watch inside the game, how many times he has ended plays with physicality, and his skating has been good. He's really put together a great start to this season, and he's really been the guy that's been the most solid back there on the back end. He's been real good on the penalty kill. All parts of his games have been real good. But I would go back to the last 25 games of last year, where I thought he was our top defenseman. Didn't get off to a great start. But got to about game 40 and his game started coming around, and I thought he finished the year in a great place. He had a great summer when it comes to training, and he came to camp, and he's really used that to elevate his play, and he's been really solid back there for us.
Lindy Ruff with us on the West Her hotline. Lindy, how have your conversations been like with Jarmo Kekäläinen in the last week? Or is it different at all, like the relationship with him from when he was the senior advisor? I know you had mentioned how he would come down to the coach's room and you'd have conversations. How much has that changed, I guess, in the last week with him?
Not a lot has changed. When Jarmo came in as the advisor, he would sit with us almost every day. We open door policy, so he sat in on a lot of the conversations we would have as coaches in the morning. He was in there after games. He's doing what he does, and I think the conversations are the same. The normal GM coach conversations take place, whether we're talking about how players played, about the upcoming lineup. There's times you have to look a little bit ahead in the lineup, and we've discussed some of those things. But really, the normal conversations that a GM and coach would have, they're all taking place.
Lindy Ruff with us. Thank you, Lindy, for joining. Merry Christmas, and good luck going for 7 in a row tonight.
Thank you, and Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to all of you guys.
Thanks, Lindy. Lindy Ruff with us. Sabres and Senators tonight in Ottawa, and Josh Norris making his return to the Senators, having more than a point a game on the season. It's 10 points in 9 games for him, and the shootout winner the other night, by the way, against the Islanders. That trade right now. So I try not to take part in the endless, let's fight with the other team's fans about who won the trade on social media. I do enjoy watching it sometimes. I'll take part on the air here for a moment. That trade is going exactly how I would have thought it was when they made it. Exactly what I would have thought. Like, I was at a place with Dylan Cousins where I thought he's lost here and it's not coming back. It had been so many games between the great Dylan Cousins that you saw in 22-23 when he scored 30 goals and where he was when they traded him, that I had written off the idea that it was ever coming back.
Certainly not here.
Not here.
Yeah.
And really,
anywhere.
It hasn't really come back in Ottawa.
No.
I mean, he's giving them value on the power play, and that's not nothing. Like,
for sure.
I said before the season, like, if you can get a good power play and good goaltending, you don't even have to be a good team and you'll make the playoffs.
Yeah.
And he's giving them a lot on the power play. 6 power play goals on the season. That's already a career high. He never had that many for Buffalo.
Right.
But he has scored 1 5-on-5 goal since like October 16th.
Yeah, he's kind of just a black hole 5-on-5. Like, nothing really happens. It's not necessarily bad, but he's not driving play like we kind of thought when he first got here. He looked like a driver. Like,
yeah,
he controlled the game when he was out there when the puck was on his stick, and that is not, I don't think, the player that he is now.
No, I always thought that he was a player that over time watching him, it was clear to me he is at his best when the game is moving at an insanely high pace, and you don't really have to think quickly. You don't have to think, and slow the game down. It's play on instinct, and the way Granato had this team flying for a while, which was, don't worry about making mistakes. Play fast and play free, and that was, I thought, that's what I think Cousins thrives in.
Yeah.
When the game starts to slow down the way they wanted it to slow down, and now you got to start to think more, and, it's more board battles, and it's less about your speed. Right. As soon as that happened, it felt like we saw a lot of the things that stop him from being an elite center.
Yeah, and a lot of people associate that with that Garnet Hathaway fight where he got his face caved in. And, I get it, I'm sure that's a part of where his confidence went. But I think it was more an issue with him as a player is not.
Yeah.
It's not what we thought it was when he first got here and he was, scoring 24 goals or whatever he had that 1 year.
This is not to say that he's dumb.
No,
I don't want to put it this way. But
he's not as effective as he was. You trade Josh Norris for him.
In the way I would think that Zach Benson on like the hockey IQ scale is all the way to the right on like that dude is a 100 on hockey IQ. That Cousins is closer to the other end of the spectrum. He's faster. He has a better shot. He's more physical, and that's what allows him to have a spot in the National Hockey League. But I just never thought that it was going to work here, especially the way they wanted to play, and it's not really happening in Ottawa. And on the Norris side, to get to like how it's going exactly how I thought, I think Norris is definitely a better player, and he has injury problems.
Right. That was when that deal got made. It felt to me like people were very angry because they did not know what Josh Norris was. He is a way better player than Dylan Cousins ever was and ever will be. He's really good. And we're seeing it now. He's been unbelievable since he came back from injury. And I don't blame anybody for not knowing that because you barely ever saw him play.
Right.
But when you did, this is what you got. Like, he is smooth and really smart. And
he can finish at
really
a higher
can
level
finish,
than Cousins. Yeah.
And he can make plays. And he is, like, he's a great hockey player. And we've all said that since the start. I think maybe not everybody wanted to listen because you just, let me see him play a few games, and here we are. Now you're just too, can he stay healthy for, the rest of the year? If he can do that, I'll feel pretty good about those Sabres having a really, really good center depth situation. Like
Tage, Norris, and McLeod.
Norris, McLeod, Kulik. You can win with those guys playing center.
Yeah, I think you can build off of that.
100%. I don't know how many center groups you'd look around the league. Like, there's a lot of that. That's a good group of centers in a league that's desperate for centers all the time.
Does that mean you don't want to trade for Austin Matthews like some people on Toronto radio are suggesting maybe they should do?
I would trade. I would stay away.
Trade all. I love those centers. I might trade all three of them to get Austin Matthews.
I don't like him this year.
He's not getting traded.
The last year and a half.
He's not getting traded anyway.
No, he's not.
No.
But
I think
I'd stay away from him. Really. Which I feel crazy saying, but I would stay away from Austin Matthews. If I had to trade...
I think that is crazy.
I know.
I think that's nuts.
Look at him.
I know he hasn't been great.
He's either broken or something is wrong.
I know, but the man did score 70 goals like 2 years ago.
Right, but he can't play anymore. He's like an average player now.
It could be his environment. His environment's pretty bad.
It could be, but you get paid 11 and whatever million. Your environment cannot matter.
That's right.
That you are the environment.
Right. 803-0550 is the phone number. Sabres tonight against Ottawa. Paul in Buffalo's got a Sabres thought. What's up, Paul?
Hey, Merry Christmas, guys. Thank you for taking the call. I would like to talk about Josh Norris's goal against Jersey because there are things about Norris that jump off the chart that we all see. His skill level stuff, like you said, all dialed to the right. His hands, his speed, just his skill making. He's incredible. But on his goal against Jersey, first and foremost, credit to Lindy Ruff and the coaching staff, who I've been hard on. They put Owen Power and Rasmus Dahlin out together for a offensive zone draw. Check one. Check two is Noah Ostlund has to win that draw. He does. Wins it right back to Owen Power, who knows what he's doing in the offensive zone, gives it to Dahlin immediately. The captain comes in, puts a shot on net that gives a nice, juicy rebound. And then this amazes me. Josh Norris saw some stinky garbage there and picked it up. And he was not given that position by the Jersey defenseman. He had to go through two Jersey defensemen, win a battle before he could collect that garbage. And when you combine that sort of grit and tenacity to score a goal with his obvious skill, boy, that's one heck of a hockey player. And I'll say this about Dylan Cousins. Have any of us ever done such a 180 on a player? If you can put your mind back to where you were during the Heritage Classic game where he's been kicked out of the game for fighting with, I think, Michael Bunting, and then he and Terry Pagula are standing there. Terry's got the varsity jacket on, his arm around Cousins, telling him what a hell of a job he did sticking up for his teammate. And it seems like almost a day after that, it just started going downhill for Dylan Cousins. Guys, have a great show. Merry Christmas.
Thanks, Paul, for the call. Yeah, I think, listen, it was always going to be this, but it's going to come down to whether Norris stays healthy. And I don't know if he will. He's played 10 games, and 9 games. It's going well right now. And he's looked fine, and he's playing all the minutes. If he stays healthy, I think the Sabres got the better hockey player. But we'll see. You're not going to just declare that the injury problems are over because he played 9 games in a row. Or even 8 games in a row, right? Because actually, he played the first game of the year. So, it's 12 games total for the Buffalo Sabres. 12 points also in that time. He goes back to Ottawa tonight. Sabres looking for 7 in a row. By the way, if you're wondering how much ground they've covered in the standings, maybe not as much as you think, but they have closed the gap between all of those teams that are ahead of them. Because right now, it's they jumped over Toronto, they jumped over Columbus, and they are 3 points out of a spot right now, which is currently held by the Devils. They're 5 points back of the division. But You've also narrowed the gap to all those teams you got to jump over. 1 behind Pittsburgh, 2 behind the Rangers, 2 behind Ottawa, 2 behind Florida, 3 behind Boston. You're now within striking range of all of those teams that you had to climb over. So, 6-game win streak, I'm still third last in the East. Right, like you'd want better than that, but they weren't even in range 2 weeks ago. And now they've put themselves back into the fight. And they still have work to do, a lot of work to do. But they're at least in it now. And we just talked about like Matthews and the Leafs. Like I don't think they're in it at all at the moment. Like that team is broken. They might fire the coach. They're talking about trading their best player, and he's not playing well. Like it could be worse this season. I'm not going to say it could be worse in general because they've made the playoffs a lot of years in a row. But this season, it could be worse. You could be Toronto. 803-0550 is the phone number. Get back to the Bills a little bit as well, as Howard is going to pick the Bills when we come back.